Welcome back to my YouTube channel Coin Secrets. The coin sitting quietly in your pocket right now could be the difference between an ordinary life and a six-figure payday. Most people overlook it. They spend it without thinking. They ignore it because it looks too normal. But what if I told you that one specific 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny, especially one without a mint mark combined with a rare error, has shocked collectors and sold for staggering amounts, sometimes climbing into the hundreds of thousands at auction? And here's the uncomfortable truth: the person who finds it is rarely the expert. It's usually someone just like you, going through old change, unaware they're holding something extraordinary. Picture this for a moment. It's late evening. You're sorting through an old jar of coins you've had for years, maybe something passed down from a parent or grandparent. Your expectations are low. You're not hunting treasure, you're just passing time. Then you see it. A worn, brown 1944 penny. No mint mark. Nothing flashy. And here's where most people make a costly mistake: they toss it aside. But you don't. Something tells you to look closer. That moment, that hesitation, has changed lives before. And it could change yours. Now let's step into Act 1, the discovery phase. In 1944, the United States Mint was transitioning materials during World War II. Most pennies that year were made from copper, returning after the steel pennies of 1943. But, and this is where things get interesting, some coins were accidentally struck using leftover steel planchets or suffered from striking errors that make them incredibly rare. These are not your everyday coins. These are anomalies. And anomalies are where serious money lives. So when you hear about a 1944, no mint mark, penny making headlines, it's not about the date alone. It's about what's hiding beneath the surface. Quick question: how many coins have you spent in your lifetime without even looking at them? Thousands? Tens of thousands? Exactly. And that's why opportunities like this slip through unnoticed. Because the difference between a 1-cent coin and a six-figure collectible is often invisible to the untrained eye. Now we move into Act 2, the realization. This is where excitement builds, and urgency kicks in. Not every 1944 penny is valuable, but the right one, with the right error, in the right condition, can command serious attention from collectors. We're talking about coins that are struck on the wrong metal, coins with double dies, coins with off-center strikes, or coins preserved in near-perfect condition. These are the pieces that auction houses fight over. These are the coins that turn ordinary people into unexpected winners. And here's where fear quietly enters the picture. Because while you're watching this, someone else is checking their coins. Someone else is learning what to look for. And someone else might find that rare piece before you even start. The market doesn't wait. Collectors don't hesitate. And once a rare coin is discovered and sold, that exact opportunity is gone forever. But let's reset for a second, because this part always surprises people. Not all valuable coins look impressive. In fact, some of the most valuable pieces look worn, faded, even damaged at first glance. That's the trap. People assume value equals beauty. In coin collecting, value equals rarity. And rarity often hides in plain sight. As we move into Act 3, the action phase, this is where your mindset shifts. You're no longer just watching. You're participating. You're paying attention. You're checking dates, mint marks, weight, color, and texture. You're looking for anything unusual. Because now you understand something most people don't: wealth doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes, it sits quietly in a coin jar. Imagine the moment you confirm it. The weight is different. The metal looks off. You do a quick check, and your heart starts racing. This isn't just another penny. This is something rare. Something collectors are actively searching for. And suddenly, that small coin becomes a gateway. A gateway to financial freedom, to a better lifestyle, to options you didn't have before. Here's the reality: most people will never check their coins seriously. They'll watch videos like this, feel a spark of curiosity, and move on. But a small percentage, the ones who take action, those are the people who find things. Those are the people who win. So before you spend another penny, before you ignore that old coin sitting in your drawer, ask yourself one simple question: what if? What if the next coin you check changes everything? Because history has proven, again and again, that it only takes one. And the next one could be yours. There's a coin most people have seen, most people have ignored, and almost everyone has underestimated. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny. No mint mark. It looks ordinary, almost forgettable. But here's the twist that stops serious collectors in their tracks: under the right conditions, with the right error, this small copper coin can transform into something far more powerful than spare change. We're talking about values that can shock the unprepared mind. And the uncomfortable truth is this: while you're watching this, someone else could be discovering one right now. Imagine reaching into an old drawer, a forgotten jar, or a box of coins passed down through family. You're not expecting anything life-changing. You're just curious. But then your fingers pause. You pull out a worn 1945 penny. No mint mark. It doesn't shine. It doesn't sparkle. And yet, something feels different. Now here's a quick question: be honest, would you have noticed it, or would you have spent it without a second thought? That single decision is where opportunity either begins, or disappears. Welcome to Act 1, the discovery. In 1945, as World War II was coming to an end, the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies in Philadelphia, which is why many of them carry no mint mark at all. On the surface, that sounds ordinary. But beneath that surface lies a world most people never explore: minting errors, planchet anomalies, and subtle variations that can elevate a simple coin into a collector's obsession. And here's where things get interesting, because the coins that command serious money are not the ones everyone recognizes. They're the ones almost no one does. Now let's shift gears, because this is where excitement builds. Act 2, the realization. Not every 1945 penny is valuable. But the right one? That's a completely different story. Coins with double die errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual metal compositions can ignite bidding wars. And when you combine rarity with strong condition, something extraordinary happens. Collectors compete. Prices climb. And suddenly, a coin once dismissed becomes the center of attention. But here's the part that introduces urgency. These coins don't announce themselves. They don't glow. They don't come with a label saying, valuable. They blend in. And because they blend in, they get spent, lost, or overlooked every single day. Just think about that for a second: how many rare coins have quietly passed through hands, never recognized for what they truly were? It's almost painful to imagine. Let's break the tension for a moment, because this part always makes people smile. If coins could talk, that 1945 penny in your drawer would probably be shouting, "Hey! I might be worth more than your morning coffee." But of course, it doesn't. And that silence is exactly why awareness becomes your greatest advantage. Now we enter Act 3, the transformation. This is where you stop being a passive viewer and become an active seeker. You begin to look closer. You check the date. You examine the surface. You notice details you would have ignored before. Because now you understand something powerful: value is not always obvious, but it is always discoverable. Here's the truth most people won't act on. They'll hear this information, feel a brief moment of curiosity, and move on. But a small group, the ones who take it seriously, who actually check their coins, those are the individuals who uncover hidden value. Those are the ones who turn overlooked objects into meaningful financial gains. So before you spend another penny, before you dismiss that old coin sitting unnoticed, ask yourself one question that has changed outcomes for others: what if this time is different? Because history has shown us something again and again, it only takes one discovery to change your perspective, and sometimes, even your lifestyle. And the next coin you check, might be the one that proves it. There's a coin hiding in plain sight that most people would never look at twice, a 1946 Lincoln Wheat penny with no mint mark. It doesn't shine. It doesn't stand out. It looks like every other old coin you've seen before. But here's what makes this story different: under the right circumstances, with the right characteristics, this simple piece of copper can command astonishing attention from collectors. And the truth that makes this so powerful is simple: the difference between something ordinary and something extraordinary is often just one detail away. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you handled coins without really seeing them? Not looking, just moving them along, spending them, ignoring them. Now imagine if one of those coins had the potential to change your financial direction. Would you have noticed it? Or would it already be gone? That question alone has cost people opportunities they never even knew they had. Now we step into Act 1, the discovery. In 1946, just after World War II, the United States Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies in Philadelphia, which is why many of them carry no mint mark. On the surface, that sounds ordinary. And for most coins, it is. But hidden within those millions are subtle variations, minting errors, die inconsistencies, and rare anomalies that collectors actively search for. These are not widely advertised. They're not obvious. And that's exactly why they hold power. Let's pause for a second, quick reality check. If valuable coins were easy to spot, everyone would already be rich from pocket change. But they're not. And that's what creates opportunity for the few who pay attention. Now we move into Act 2, the realization, where curiosity turns into urgency. Not every 1946 penny is valuable, but the right one, that's where things escalate. Coins with double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual surfaces can attract serious collector demand. And when rarity meets strong condition, the market responds in a way that surprises most people. Because collectors don't just buy coins, they compete for them. Here's where the emotional shift happens. While you're watching this, coins are being spent, exchanged, and overlooked across the country. Some of them may carry the exact characteristics collectors are hunting for. And once those coins disappear into circulation again, the chance to recognize them disappears too. That's the urgency most people underestimate. Let's break that tension with a quick thought: if your coin jar had a personality, it would probably be laughing right now, thinking, "You've been ignoring me for years." And honestly, it might be right. Now we enter Act 3, the transformation. This is where your perspective changes. You're no longer just seeing coins as currency. You're seeing them as potential. You begin to check dates more carefully. You start noticing small details, the alignment, the texture, the strike. Because now you understand something most people don't: value often hides behind what looks familiar. Picture this moment clearly. You come across a 1946 penny. No mint mark. At first glance, it looks like nothing special. But then you notice something unusual. Maybe the lettering appears slightly doubled. Maybe the strike seems off-center. Maybe the coin just feels different. You take a closer look. You compare. And suddenly, your attention sharpens. Because now you realize, this could be more than just a coin. Here's the truth that drives real results. Most people will never act on this information. They'll hear it, think it's interesting, and move on. But a smaller group, the ones who actually check, who actually look closer, those are the people who discover hidden value. Those are the people who turn overlooked objects into meaningful financial gains. So before you spend another penny, before you ignore that old coin sitting quietly in your home, ask yourself one simple question: what if the opportunity you've been waiting for isn't something new, but something you already have? Because history has shown, time and time again, it only takes one discovery to change everything. And the next coin you check, could be that discovery. There's a small, quiet coin that has passed through millions of hands, ignored, overlooked, and underestimated for decades. The 1947 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks ordinary, just another piece of old copper, nothing special. But here's the part that changes everything: under the right conditions, with the right hidden characteristics, this simple coin can capture the attention of serious collectors and command astonishing prices. And the truth most people don't want to hear is this: while they're busy chasing obvious opportunities, the real ones are sitting unnoticed in places they've stopped looking. Think about how many coins you've handled in your lifetime. Thousands? Maybe tens of thousands. Now ask yourself honestly, how many of them did you actually examine? Not glance at, examine. Because the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth thousands, or more, is often just one overlooked detail. And that detail doesn't announce itself. It waits for someone observant enough to notice. Welcome to Act 1, The Discovery. In 1947, the Philadelphia Mint produced a massive number of Lincoln Wheat Pennies, which is why many carry no mint mark. That alone doesn't make them rare. In fact, it makes them easy to ignore. But within that massive production lies something far more interesting: small minting irregularities, subtle errors, and rare variations that most people never learn about. These are the coins that slip through unnoticed. These are the coins that collectors quietly search for. Let's pause for a second. Quick question. If I handed you a 1947 penny right now, would you know what to look for, or would you assume it's just another old coin? That moment of uncertainty is exactly where opportunity lives. Now we move into Act 2, the realization. This is where curiosity turns into excitement, and urgency begins to build. Not every 1947 penny is valuable, but the right one can be highly desirable. Coins with double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, or unusual textures can stand out dramatically to trained eyes. And when those features are combined with strong preservation, something powerful happens: the market responds. Collectors don't hesitate when rarity appears. They compete. And here's where the emotional shift happens. Because while you're learning this, coins are still moving through circulation, still being spent, still being ignored. Some of them may carry the exact features that collectors are actively searching for. And once those coins disappear again, the opportunity to recognize them disappears too. That's not pressure, that's reality. Let's reset the energy for a moment, because this part always catches people off guard. The most valuable coins don't always look impressive. In fact, some look slightly off, even flawed. And that's the irony. What looks like a mistake to most people, can be exactly what makes it valuable. Now we step into Act 3, the transformation. This is where everything changes for you. You stop seeing coins as everyday objects and start seeing them as hidden assets. You begin to slow down. You check dates more carefully. You notice details: the alignment of the design, the sharpness of the lettering, the feel of the coin in your hand. Because now you understand something most people never realize: value is not always visible at first glance, but it reveals itself to those who look closer. Picture this moment. You're going through old coins, maybe from a jar, a drawer, or a collection you haven't touched in years. Then you find it. A 1947 penny. No mint mark. At first, it seems ordinary. But then you notice something slightly unusual. The design looks just a bit different. The strike isn't perfectly centered. You take a closer look. And suddenly, your attention sharpens. Because now you know enough to recognize that this might not be just another coin. That moment, right there, is where everything shifts. Because you're no longer guessing. You're aware. And awareness is what turns overlooked objects into real opportunities. Here's the truth that separates outcomes. Most people will hear this and do nothing. They'll think it's interesting, maybe even exciting, but they won't act. But a small percentage, the ones who actually check, who actually pay attention, those are the people who discover value where others see none. Those are the people who turn small moments into meaningful gains. So before you spend another penny, before you ignore that old coin sitting quietly in your home, ask yourself one simple question: what if the opportunity you've been waiting for has been in front of you all along? Because time and time again, history proves it only takes one discovery to change everything. And the next coin you look at might be the one that does.